Hello, my name is David Gonzalez. How much is too much for a taco? Does it depend more on who is making it or what it's made of? Several times a day, we have to make deliberate choices on what we want to eat and how much we are willing to spend on our desired choices. My thesis looks at how Netflix food docuseries are expanding the way in which Latin American cuisine is perceived and appreciated within the culinary landscape. The tantalizing aesthetics employed in these various series draw on the audience to fantasize about the glistening food presented to them. This way of displaying foreign food as something to lust after captures an audience and holds their attention throughout the more complex cultural narratives being explored within each episode. My use of foreign here is a deliberate choice to note that the food exhibited goes beyond being unfamiliar. The food is physically far away from the audience and unattainably out of their grasp. Unlike food in a commercial, you can't Uber Eats the meals in the series from the screen to your door. In most other food series, there is an element of celebrity that takes the place that aesthetics are playing within the series I explore. For over a decade, audiences hungrily tune in to watch whatever new food show Gordon Ramsay throws his name on. They have no idea what his food tastes like and rarely care what it looks like. They tune in to be entertained by his profanity-fueled rampages throughout the kitchen and enthralled by his movements on a chopping board. The removal of the overshadowing celebrity and the shift of focus to the food itself helps cause attention to the generally underseen markers of national identity and culture. I singled out Mexico to use as a case study throughout several Netflix original food docuseries to highlight the way this particular use of aesthetics is boosting the way audiences place value in Latin American cuisine. With cuisine itself being the highlighted feature, these series educate an audience to the role of Latin Americans working with food in kitchens, fields, and streets, both within their countries and the places to where they have immigrated to. This glamorized visibility elevates their physical labor into a respected craftsmanship. These series show how truly effective representation goes beyond the simple inclusion of a minority. Working-class Latin Americans benefit tremendously from the global audiences seeing their physical labor presented as skilled labor. By showcasing Mexican food in the same stylized fashion as high-end sushi or fine dining French restaurants, these Netflix series are changing the way Latinos are perceived and appreciated within the culinary world. The focus of my analysis looks at Chef's Table, which was Netflix's first original series about food. Creator and producer David Gelb brings to the series his unique documentary style of food filming that he used in his 2011 acclaimed documentary, Jiro Dreams of Sushi, which examines how a Japanese sushi chef turned his subway station sushi stall into one of the most coveted reservations on the globe. Using this documentary style and turning into an episodic format for Chef's Table proved to be highly successful and appealing to a large audience. Building off the success of Chef's Table, Gelb pushes away from the professional kitchen and into the streets with his follow-up series Street Food, which allows him to shed light on a more diverse and underrepresented group of cooks. Carrying over his style of filming aesthetics from Chef's Table to Street Food, Gelb presents these street cooks' food at the same level of worth as the cooks in Chef's Table, serving from their Michelin star kitchens, just like we saw in Jiro. This leads us to Netflix Mexican original series Taco Chronicles. Working off the techniques that paved the way before it, the series dives deeper into the historical and cultural significance of Mexican street food. Narrated completely in Spanish by Mexican nationals, the series allows for the subjects to finally be in charge of their own narrative. Unlike the series before it, each episode is directed by a Latino, which allows the framework to be controlled by someone who identifies with the representation on screen. The gaudiness and glamour of Chef's Table opens a door that ultimately leads its audience through an educational journey into the heart of Mexican cities. Without the success of Chef's Table, Taco Chronicles may never be given the exposure afforded by being on a global platform like Netflix. I used Ukutuming's research into the term food porn to help me to clarify the role the aesthetics practice plays within these series. He says, an actual pornography arouses sexual desire in a setting where the stimulus isn't the real thing, but its exaggerated image. So does food porn seem to arouse food cravings where the stimulus itself is not the real thing, but only its embellished representation. To help further the analysis of these series, I will also look at essays on the evolution of Mexican food, curated by Rafael Clemente Espino. Additionally, I will pull from various works edited by Consuelo Carcelas and Meredith E. Abarca, compiled on Latinos' presence in the food industry. These essays help contextualize the way foodways trace immigrant identity and how Latinos are changing the way we think about food. French, Italian, and Japanese cuisine have long dominated and controlled what fine dining looks like globally. In Brazil, the only country in Latin America with a Michelin guide, more than half of the restaurants with stars serve Japanese or Italian cuisine. For far too long, Latin American cuisine has been looked down on as simple and unsophisticated, while Latin Americans themselves are the ones getting food from the farm to the kitchen and onto your table. While I understand that Netflix is a profit-driven corporation that is specifically curating this content in a way to draw in viewership, these series are creating an avenue for storytellers to educate an audience about rich and diverse cuisines that have been historically overlooked and undervalued. As these series continue to propel Latin American chefs into positions where they are able to promote their dishes, will audiences now be more willing to take a chance on a $20 taco? Thank you, and I look forward to carrying on this discussion.